Today on Ask This Old House.
Paint is much easier to put on than take it off. I'm heading to Sacramento to show you how to do it safely and correctly.
Most of it's just right on that paper.
Yeah. So you almost don't need to scrape. Everything's coming right on.
Two different kinds of chisel. This is a wooden handle chisel, all right? And then there's also a chisel that has a metal end on it. Metal means you can attack. If you use a metal hammer on it, that you have to use a wooden mallet or your hand.
And I'm going to drop by a friend's house to show her how to connect water to her refrigerator with an ice maker.
Don't kick it.
I won't, I promise.
That's next on Ask This Old House. Hi there, I'm Kevin O'Connor, and welcome back to Ask This Old House, where we love hearing about your old houses. So if you got questions, keep them coming. And in fact, we've got a packed show for you today. Mauro is actually helping a homeowner with a paint stripping problem, and Tommy has got some good tips for working with chisels. And Richard, you have got...
I don't know, I got a bunch of emails.
Yeah, what do you have
Everybody's
today?
got a plumbing issue where it makes a noise or it bangs or something.
Look at all of these.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
I was thinking about plumbing my own fridge in today.
Have you ever done plumbing?
A little bit underneath my sink, but I have a kit.
Okay.
The kit.
The kit.
Hey, I got a kit.
That's good.
You'd think it would have everything, but it doesn't. Well, let me check my emails. Oh, you're not here.
Just help
what if
her
I came
out.
over?
Please, would you please come
All
over?
right, send me an email.
I'm
you
really a
guys gonna do that?
landscape person,
Let's
okay?
go.
All right,
Perfect. Well, while
thank
they
you.
do that, Mauro is actually on his way to Sacramento, California.
Hey, Mauro.
Hey, Sarah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Welcome to Sacramento.
Thank you very much. Love your house. Bungalow style. We don't see many of this back home.
Oh, thank you. This was built in 1912. We've been here about a year. We're slowly doing some changes, but we ran into a snag, hoping you
Okay.
could help us out.
Let's do it.
Welcome to our house.
Thank you very much. Oh, colorful house. Pink for this room, blue for this room. Bold colors, do you like it?
Yes, we do. We love it. We want a different color in every room.
Right, and then you get red for this room.
Actually, this one is not our choice. We do want to redo this room, paint a nice yellow, and the trim, though, we want to take all this paint off that a previous owner did. And
Like you already started to do some
yes,
work
we
here.
did start. We wanted to take the paint off, but not take the original varnish off.
Okay.
So we read in a DIY blog that you could take rubbing alcohol to it, and it did work a little bit. It peeled the paint off, but it didn't get us the results that we
So
wanted.
any still was a little bit left behind.
Yes. So when that didn't work, we used a heat gun.
You said heat gun?
Yeah.
No, I don't like heat gun.
Okay. Yeah, we don't like them either. We got some scorch marks.
I know, heat gun is not good for indoors and it's not good to stripping paint off.
Okay.
It can hurt the wood and can also release vapors. Not good for your health. And do you want to do this whole room?
Yes, actually that's our goal.
Okay, stripping paint, it's a lot of work. We're not going to be able to get this whole room done for you today, but at least I'll show you a good technique. You can do a lot of work after that.
Okay, that sounds good. Let's get started.
Let's do it. Okay, Sarah, before we do any stripping on houses built before 1978, we have to test for lead.
Okay.
Okay, there's multiple coats of paint on this trim. We have to go all the way down to the first one. And this is how we're going to do it. Little V shape on this side. And then another one on this side. Sure. That's nice. I can see the bare wood. Okay, cut is done. So let's test for lead. This kit you can get at a good home center. Comes with a part A, part B, two different chemicals. You can see there, crush them together, shake them, and it's ready to test.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, great. Now you shake it, point down. Yep. All right, that should be good. Now let's go test right there. Just squeeze it. That's good. Perfect. Okay. Sorry, I don't see red or pink. That means there's no lead presence on this trim.
Oh, great.
But let's double check and put a couple drops on the dot to make sure the test was done correct. If the color comes out red or pink on the card, we're lead free. Congratulations, we are lead free. Okay, this is what we're going to use to remove the rest of the paint. It's a 0 VOC paint stripper.
Okay, so what does that mean?
VOC stands for volatile organic compound. Traditional paint stripper has VOC and it smells really bad, and they are not good for your health. This one doesn't.
It actually kind of smells like almond extract.
So even though this is a 0 VOC, we still have to wear safety gears.
Okay.
I always start from the top and work my way down. You can put like a kind of a thick coat. Don't need to be very thin, all right? Paintbrush cannot be reused once it goes into the paint stripper. We're gonna use a cheaper brush so it can be thrown away. I'm going to cover the stripper with a laminated paper to accelerate the curing time. Always overlap, just in case for some shrinkage. The key is that we want to keep it thick, nice.
You could do this all day.
Well, guess what? You got a whole room to do it. Press it, press it. We don't want to see any bubbles in there, okay? Let's give it some time for it to cure it.
Okay, time for a coffee then.
Great idea.
Want to tackle all your home improvement projects with confidence? Join This Old House Insider, a new streaming service from This Old House, the iconic Emmy-winning series that inspired a generation of home enthusiasts. Stream over 1,000 episodes of This Old House and Ask This Old House commercial-free. Watch it all in the This Old House app and join live online Q&As with our experts. Best of all, you can try Insider free for 7 days. To join, go to thisoldhousemembership.com.
All right, it looks nice and cured. Let's give it a shot. Wow, Sarah, look at that. It's coming out with one application.
Wow, that looks great. A lot easier than alcohol.
Oh yeah. Sarah, I don't know if you noticed, but we're using a plastic potty knife because we don't want to do any damage to this woodwork.
Most of it's just right on that paper.
Yep.
Kind of the opposite of painting.
Yes. See, you almost don't need to scrape. Everything's coming right off. Okay, to remove the remaining residue, we're gonna use a scrub pad with the warm water.
Okay.
Well, we're all cleaned up. What do you think?
Wow, Mauro, this looks fantastic. I
Looks good.
cannot believe how much paint was taken off over there compared to the method that I used.
Well, we not only remove all the paint, we remove also the varnish. It's down to the bare wood right now. Once you get it all prepped and stripped it, lightly sand the whole thing, and I would suggest for finish a semi-gloss polyurethane, and look for one with no VOC.
Okay, great. Yeah, I cannot wait to tackle this whole room. It's gonna look great.
I bet you do it, but you promised me one thing. I want to see this room when it's done. Send me a picture, please.
I will. Thank you so much for coming to Sacramento.
You got it. Thank you.
Nice job.
we
Looks
go.
like she's up for the task, right?
She is.
So, paint strippers, notoriously nasty stuff, although I guess that's why they've been so effective. Although, when I see this, that is very effective as well. And now it's got me thinking, why would anybody use a paint stripper with VOCs when they can use something with 0 VOCs?
All comes down to money when you looking for a product with 0 VOC.
How much more for 0 VOC than a traditional paint strip?
Twice as more.
Oh, twice as much for this.
Twice as more for this.
Seems like it's worth the price, though. I mean, if it's going to be 0 VOCs, keep you healthy and be effective. All right. So she had asked for the paint stripped and the varnish left behind. What I saw was the paint and the varnish stripped. I mean, is there any way to strip paint and actually leave a layer of varnish?
Not really. Any paint stripper, especially this one here, takes about 8 to 10 coats of paint in one application. There's no way we can leave behind the varnish that she had there.
I mean, the varnish is effectively a coat of paint, so that's coming off.
Exactly.
But that's fine, because that wood was perfectly prepped, ready to go.
Exactly. She has a nice, beautiful trim. All she's got to do is lightly sand, put a couple coats of water-based, no VOC polyurethane, and she's done.
All right. So something I had not seen before when it came to the lead test was this secondary test.
That's right.
You were hoping not to see red or pink on the tip when you're testing the paint, yet you're hoping that it's going to turn red or pink on this little secondary test kit.
That's right. If you don't see red or pink in here, that means we're good. But you transfer to the dot, the card on the dot. If you see a little red or pink, that means we did it right there, and it shows here.
So there are trace amounts of lead on the card.
There's trace amount of lead on there that makes sure that you did it right.
Proves that this has been mixed properly, that this is effective.
That's right.
Well, I mean, nothing to complain about when you're doing lead tests, you're using 0 VOC, and you're getting something that's that effective. That's awesome.
That's great. In comparison to the traditional paint stripper, that's the way to go. Take care of your health.
Good. All right. Thank you, Mauro.
Thank you.
Now you can watch This Old House and Ask This Old House anytime, anywhere. Download our new app to stream full episodes to your tablet, your TV, and your phone. Binge on classic episodes, catch up on recent renovation, and get step-by-step help projects all around the house. And best of all, it's free. The most trusted home improvement information is now available on your Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, iOS, and Android devices. Download the This Old House streaming app today. Tommy, I know how much you love using a chisel, and to be honest, I think people love watching you use a chisel.
Well, using a chisel is very relaxing. I get in a zone. It's like, ooh, and I don't hear anything.
They are not all made equally. If I'm looking for a good quality chisel, what's the first thing I'm looking for?
You want high quality steel. That's important because it will hold the edge longer.
Oh, hard steel.
Hard steel, and you want to be able to hold the edge, like I say, but you also want to make sure you can sharpen it well.
Right.
2 different kinds of chisels. This is a wooden handle chisel, all right, and then there's also a chisel that has a metal end on it. Metal means you can use a metal hammer on it. That you have to use a wooden mallet or your hand.
Right, so there's a little bit more of a finer instrument. Something like this you're going to have on the job site, and you're going to do a whole bunch of things with it. There is a technique to it.
There is a technique. First of all, you also want to make sure you always have it protected. So you've got to think about the chisel and think about the bevel on the chisel.
Right, so a flat side and a bevel side.
Flat side, bevel side. So now if I want to take the chisel and I've done a little mortise here, but I want to dig this mortise out, but I don't want it to go, I don't want it to run from me. I want it to go where I want it to go. I'm going to take my hammer, I'm going to hold the chisel at a slight angle, just like that, just a little bit, get it started, then I'm going to straighten it out, give it a little tap.
This is using the flat side, and you're making a straight cut, which means you're setting the depth.
Right. So now I'm going to take that. I know how much I just hit that. I know how hard I hit it. I also watch the chisel move a little bit. So now I'm going to travel on down. Tap it again, all the way down. And I'm going to do a series all around the same depth. The reason is when I take the chisel and now turn the chisel and cut into the wood, I don't want the wood to run. So in other words, if the grain's running the wrong way, I can actually lose it. A big chunk can come out. I also want to make sure I hold the chisel in the right way. If I hold it this way, the chisel can dive on me, and I can really break out too much.
So bevel side down in this case.
Bevel side down, and now I can control the way the chisel goes. So if I tap it gently, I'm going to pick it up a little bit. I'm going to drive it down. Now I can use the bevel as a fulcrum, push down, push my piece out, and make a level cut right across.
And I know that takes a little bit of getting used to, but right there, the trick is that you're taking a little bit of material off at a time, never too much.
Never too much. Go easy. It's a lot easier in the long run.
Okay, sometimes they get damaged. You end up hitting a nail, they get a little nick in them, and they always end up getting dull with use.
Right. I mean, depending on the species of the wood that you use, just by taking the chisel and doing what I was just doing, eventually that edge will get a little dull.
So in terms of sharpening an undamaged chisel, where do you start?
The first thing I would do is, and I do it a lot, is I would keep a honing stone nearby. This is a diamond honing stone. I put a little water on it, and I would take the chisel and I hold it and I would feel the bevel. So now it's sitting flat on the bevel.
Yep.
I take the chisel and I would drag it back 3 or 4 times that way, keeping it flat on that, keeping that edge and the bevel right there 3 or 4 times that way. Then flip the chisel over and I would work it this way, forward, keeping it flat. Now I've just created a nice edge.
Diamond here, stone here with oil. If you've got a bigger sort of divot or ding in the chisel and you need a bigger repair, is that why you're reaching something for something like this?
If you look at the chisel right here, you can see there's actually a divot in there. I might have hit a nail or something with it.
So what have you got here?
So this is actually a grinder that's going to remove a lot more material, and I want to make sure that it's set at the right bevel, which in this case would be about 25 degrees. Say it on there. Now the water does 2 things. It lubricates the chisel so it can float across the wheel, but it also keeps that steel from being overheated. You don't want to overheat it.
Right.
Now I'd go back and forth with this, and it might take me 15, 20 minutes to get it where I want to be. And then after it's sharpened, I would use this honing wheel right here, which is a piece of leather, put some honing cream on it, and then just polish it.
All right, well, great tips as always, and I guess I now know where I'm dropping my chisels off for a little tune-up. Thank you, Tommy.
My pleasure.
Welcome, Richard.
Nice house you got here, kiddo.
Thank you for coming, because I'm really an outdoor person and I need your help.
Well, it's nice to work for friends and family once in a while, too.
Oh, well, thank you. So here is my fridge.
All right, good. So I stopped you when I saw that kit you had in the workshop, so got to protect you from yourself.
Thank you. I need that help.
So in that kit was this valve right here, and there's a lot to love about it, but there's a lot that I don't like at all, and that is it's called a saddle valve. Has a bracket on both sides, a little rubber gasket right here. And what happens is you put it on here, nice and easy for the homeowner. All you need is a screwdriver, right? Except, now let me pierce it. Watch this.
So you're actually going to puncture.
Right. It's a sharp, sharp point, and it goes down. You should barely be able to see it just inside the pipe. Do you see it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So you think that's great, except this valve, this bracket, is not really made out of brass or copper. It's actually just metal, regular metal that's coated. So that means if it ever rusted or let go or failed, all of a sudden you have full city water pressure. It's going to leak all over the place.
That's why everyone has problems.
Right.
Of these, okay.
So a plumber can't use this legally, at least in this state, because they just a big insurance claim waiting to happen. So what we want to do is solder it properly and make a nice tight connection.
Okay.
First thing we have to do is find water. So I see a sink here.
Sink's there. Over there is this is all finished basement over there.
All right.
And I know there's utility under here.
Under here?
Yes.
All right, so let's pull this out carefully. I'm going to scratch the floor with the owner watching.
I trust you.
All right, so Jen, just pass me that drill, will you? There's a little feeler bit on it.
There you go.
Looks like you got a little void space right here. So let's just probe down and see where it shows up. Let's see where that is. Let's take a peek. All right, so we're down underneath that refrigerator. It sits right up here.
Okay.
And you can see here's the hot and the cold pipes right here that go over to the kitchen sink, and we're going to tie into here. But I need to establish where on this plane I can drill down for that supply. So I did a couple of feeler bits, and of course the first one went right into this joist, the joist right behind this. So I did another one, and that at least establishes which bay we can now drill into. This, we're going to drill another hole farther back, and then we'll fish the new line right to here.
Okay.
All right, so we have our hole. Now we're going to think about what kind of tubing we're going to run. A couple of choices. This is a polyethylene, this is a copper. It has to be flexible tubing because we have to be able to move that refrigerator in and out and still make the connection.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to use the copper. I like its durability.
Okay, but when you send that down, is it going to kink?
We've got to be careful, make sure we don't kink it.
Okay.
So we'll work together. Okay, Jen, just guide it gently towards you.
I've got it.
How much you need? How much more?
I need another foot, foot and a half. Keep coming, keep coming.
Don't kink it.
I won't, I promise. A little bit more.
So nicely done. You fished it perfectly. Thank you. All right, so now this is our 1/4-inch tubing.
Okay.
This is 3/4 cold line right here that goes to the kitchen. So now we've got to shut off the water, drain it down, and solder in a fitting.
Okay.
So what fitting do you think we're going to use?
T.
Perfect. So here's our T, that's 3/4. The branch is 1/2 inch, and this is a shutoff valve with the adapter right here to be able to make up that 1/4-inch connection.
Okay.
See how it runs? Now to make this connection, it's actually called a compression connection. It has 2 parts. One is a nut. The nut slides on right here. And the next is a brass ring. You can see it right here called a ferrule. It fits right over the top. And the nut will come down on top of it. And as I tighten up that nut, I can actually compress that nut, that ferrule so much that it'll make an absolutely watertight seal. Tight enough. Okay, now we make the connection upstairs and we can turn the water back on.
All right.
Now we can connect the fridge. I want to leave enough slack on that tubing so you can move the refrigerator in and out if need be. Okay. Then we just turn the water back on and we're good to go. Those wheels are nice.
Oh my gosh.
All right, looks like it
smooth.
belongs here.
Let's test it out.
All right, so here is your glass. Water's
Thank
on.
you. Thank you, sir.
Push it in. And the ice
Oh
is...
my
Huh? Are you
gosh.
excited, girl?
This is my dream. Look at that flow.
All right.
This is awesome.
Don't drink the first water. Go through a bunch of the... Discard the first 3
Flush it
buckets
out?
of ice, yeah. But you got clean water.
You know, this is the longest I've ever been inside, ever.
We are working on your inside skills. We'll see you around the studio.
All right, thank you.
Well, that's a nice fix, Richard. Good job. And I'm surprised with how many parts in that homeowner-friendly kit you didn't use, as in like all of them.
Well, the kit is easy, but it's not necessarily the long-term solution. I really prefer using copper piping and then a positive shutoff that'll last. So, yeah.
I got a house that needs stuff. I'm cool. Why not? Can you come to my house?
You know,
Send me an email.
Now that you mention it, Roger, I'm pretty cool too. I could use a couple of house calls. I call. What do I need to do?
Well, he's almost finished with the project. When are you coming over this
I'll
weekend?
be on. Yeah, that's right.
What?
Look, seriously, all you got to do is ask. He asked.
I asked. He came.
It's a very good point. And all you guys have to do is ask. So keep your questions coming. And until next time, I'm Kevin O'Connor
I'm Roger Cook.
I'm Tom Silva.
And I'm Richard Thuy.
for Ask This Old House.
Nice.
Wow. Just like... Next time on Ask This Old House.
This fireplace is being held together with tape. We can do better than that. I'm gonna work with my apprentice, Kristen, and we're gonna show you how to reface it properly.
We're having issue with our kitchen sink faucet.
Okay.
It's, out of date, pretty old. When I went underneath to shut off all the water valves, the hot water keeps dribbling from the sink. So.
Okay. This kitchen faucet is in need of an upgrade. I'll show you how to replace it.
Thanks for watching. This Old House has got a video for just about every home improvement project, so be sure to check out the others. And if you like what you see, click on the subscribe button to make sure that you get our newest videos right in your feed.